Without further ado, let's introduce Maya Vander. Thank you for joining us. All right. How you doing, Maya?
I want to make sure I'm not screaming. Okay, hi guys. Thank you so much for coming to see me. And I'm very excited to see you all in South Florida. So I have my bottle of wine, free Essentia commercial. I'm doing great.
It's amazing having you here. You know, everyone's familiar with you from a show on the other coast.
On the other coast, yes.
But before we get into that, who is Maya Vander?
So I am Maya. I was born and raised in Israel. That's why my accent is so thick. I moved here when I was 20 years old to Los Angeles, not to pursue a career in acting. I was actually just working in a clothing store. And then my mom told me to get my real estate license. I was 27, I got my license, and the history, somehow I ended up in a TV show, but it wasn't planned, really.
So when they look for, obviously they start these different shows, sometimes, you know, they're looking for different personalities. How did they discover you? Like, how did you find out about this?
So I was the first girl who joined the Oppenheim group. I used to go and door knock, and I used to see Jason's beautiful marketing material in front of the houses I used to door knock, and I was like, how am I going to compete with this guy for business? He got it pretty going, well. So I joined the O group. I was the first girl, and then Jason told me that there is another girl that is thinking to recruit, and that was Heather. So Heather joined. Heather brought a client that had an agent, a sports agent. That was Christine's ex-boyfriend, and then him and Christine joined. And then Mary was, dating Jason, but she also got a license, so then she joined. So we all actually been in the company for nobody was auditioned for the show. The only one who joined last was Chriselle, because she was licensed with a different company. And it was actually two other girls on the demo that we filmed for the pilot. One of them you're going to see in season 6, Nicole. So somehow we ended up in a TV show, but we were all there.
Right. Okay. So obviously there's certain people that were more of like the fixtures on the show, more of tracking the day-to-day. So how much of the show is real? I mean, we see a lot about every aspect, obviously real estate, but there's the personal component as well. How much of everything, like, what do we believe?
Everybody wants to know the truth. So yeah, we don't get a script. We're not we're not actresses or act, we don't act. The drama is real. Unfortunately, a lot of the girls do not get along. And we have cameras all the time. We film that show 4 days a week, sometimes multiple scenes, and things happen. Season 1, we had probably the least drama. But then the last episode, somehow Christine decided to go crazy on Chriselle, and then I was shocked. I remember when we filmed that scene, I'm like, wow. But that was a good drama finale. Thank God for Christine, to be honest. So then that's how we got picked for season 2 and 3. And then season 3, we had, unfortunately, a divorce that nobody saw coming. And then we got picked up for season 4, and 5.
No, it's absolutely amazing because, I mean, you see a lot of it. And you did a good job of, I feel like you stayed out of a lot of the drama. So did you do that intentionally, or you just, because, I mean, a lot of times, a lot of these characters, I mean, they are in it and the day-to-day, and I feel like the drama follows them.
So when I, started the show, I'm like, oh, this is great. It's going to be like $1 million listings, girl empowerment, real estate. I've been doing real estate for 5 years when I started the show. I was very excited. And then I realized, wait a minute, this show is not about real estate. It's actually about drama in pretty homes. We shoot in pretty houses, but I try to stay away from the drama. But it's hard because if you're not saying anything or not asking a question and being somehow involved, you're just not going to make it to the edit. And I saw it on a few scenes that we film. If I film a scene in one of the seasons with Vanessa, and they wanted us to shade Chriselle and Jason, which we didn't. And the scene didn't make it. It was too boring for them. So it's kind of hard. You want to be involved, but not, I don't want to be dramatic. I do real estate,
Right, exactly. I mean, what was your favorite part about being on the show? Is there like one thing that stands out that you loved?
Yeah, and I think the show is missing it. I think it's missing more real estate. I think the negotiation, the drama with the business. I mean, I've been doing real estate for 10 years. There is always drama with the client. I feel like we could have touched a little bit more on that versus just the girls' drama. That being said, obviously the show is very successful, so maybe people just love the drama and, okay, the houses are pretty, but I don't know. I miss more real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about real estate, you were doing business in California for years, and still,
Yeah.
Are you still doing business in California?
So I was licensed and I worked in LA and I did pretty well. And then we relocated to Miami. My husband got a job in Miami. And as soon as we relocated, the show got picked up by Netflix. So then I started my commute literally back and forth. And then some parts season 2 and 3, I had to actually leave there part-time because, it was too much. We filmed so much. So I've been doing real estate there, but I tried to also establish my business here in Miami. And I was doing it less consistent. The last 2 years I really took off, and it was my 2 best years in my career here in Miami. I mean, obviously COVID, so many people moved down here and Miami was just booming. Things are slowing down a little bit now. So with LA, I do less, although I have great connections. At the end of the day, it's hard to be everywhere, and I'm not trying to be everywhere. I mean, if I have a good client who wants to buy in a decent budget, I'll definitely be on the first flight to LA to do the showing. But I'm not trying to, prospect clients in LA. I'm just trying to focus on Miami. I think it's a great market, and when I moved here 5 years ago, it was lovely, but now it's even better. Right. And I feel like people underestimate, or yes, Miami is underrated, in my opinion. I know things got more expensive, but LA is even more expensive, so.
No, absolutely. And talking about today's real estate, because we read a lot in the, we hear it in the media. Exactly.
Recession, the rates are going up.
What's your take on it? Like, how is it, first of all, how are the rates affecting the market? And just in general, as far as it's, it was a seller's market for a while.
Yeah.
Is it now a buyer's market, or because of the rates, it's kind of throwing
it is shifting to a buyer's market for sure. I see a little bit more inventory, more days on the market, and more price reduction. So all these 3 things will affect the market. Some areas don't have enough supply yet, but we don't see the crazy multiple offers, no contingency, that buyers are really out of luck. And it was very tough for some buyers for some quite time. Now we're feeling like I think it's a great time to buy for a buyer. That being said, you kind of have to suck up the rate because the rates are high. But at least you eliminate the competition with other buyers, and you can negotiate a little bit more.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, a great part of the reality of rates in general, they don't stay stagnant forever. Refinancing is a big part of that. So it's like getting the buyer's mindset beyond that.
Exactly. I mean, we refi our house, but someone said something very smart, and I totally believe it. How they say it? They say, marry the house and date the rate. Because you can always play with the interest rate. So just remember that. I mean, don't get afraid of like 6%. Maybe you do adjustable for a couple of years, and then hopefully you either refi or move on to the next place. So there are a couple of creative ways. Or maybe just take the cash under the rug and buy all cash if you can. Right. That's ideal. All cash buyers, it's like easy.
And talking about specifically South Florida real estate, what are you seeing? Like, what areas or what are people looking for today?
So I see, a lot of people that move from California and New York, they love Coconut Grove, the Gables too, just because the schools are awesome. Some people have to just be in Brickell as well, which, Brickell is such a nice project coming up, and a lot of companies are obviously still relocating. Everybody knows, what's his face? What's his name? Ken Griffin. I don't want to say Blake Griffin. He's the basketball player. Ken Griffin. He obviously going over Miami, which is great for Miami. I wish I was representing him on the 107 million house that he just bought, but he wasn't my client. So a lot of companies are still moving down. I think it's going to calm down a little bit. I don't know if it's going to crash. We'll see.
And a lot of things that you hear as far as just whether it's on the media or in social media or wherever, Florida is very unique. It's different from most markets. And obviously, tax benefits, corporations moving here. Even if there is a crash talking about real estate, do you think South Florida or Florida in general would react a little bit differently? Just like during the pandemic, there was a bigger boom here than really anywhere else.
Yeah, and it was so nice to see because finally we're developing more industry in Miami, and there is reason for companies and people to move down here. Usually when you go into a recession or a crash, Los Angeles and New York tend to bounce back pretty quickly. My hope is that Miami will be the same just because of all this movement we had here in the last 2 years. So hopefully the Miami market will be a little bit more stable and not just, if there is a bad recession, we're not going to crash completely. I mean, there is a lot of cash buyers. You still have all these, buyers from Latin America that their countries are going through like elections and problems, and it's less safe for them, so they will still probably come back to Miami, buy something here, all cash, just park their money. You still have European, you still have Canadian, and those are people that have money. They buy in second, third place. They don't necessarily need that interest rate. I think we're going to be okay. I would, inventory around Brickell, downtown Edgewater, I think it's going to be a lot of construction. Hopefully it will not be crazy like a couple of years ago that we had so much inventory with all these condos, but we'll see.
And talking about, we're at the home show. And I know you've seen it even before, you've been here before, and in general you've heard about it. But when people are coming here and they're looking to improve their home, they already own their home, they're looking to improve their home. But one of the topics that everybody's thinking about is when they're investing in remodeling, what areas of the home would you say are the best places to put that money based on what people are looking for when they're looking to buy?
Yeah, that's for sure. Kitchen and bathrooms, those two. Invest in your kitchen, invest in your bathroom. You cook, you entertain in the kitchen, do a nice, white, nice island. Like, people love that stuff. And bathrooms too. You can always, and look, if you have a carpet, people just like floors generally, like tile or just nothing but carpet. And if you don't have a lot of budget, sometimes just like fresh paint will do the job. Something very basic and not too expensive, just fresh paint. Landscape is important too, that's kind of like your physique of the house, but definitely the first two are kitchen and bathroom.
Yeah, and obviously being down here in South Florida, especially in COVID, people are spending so much time indoors, they started investing so much outside, getting that outdoor kitchen, artificial turf, it's the easiest place to really expand square footage or livable square footage in your home.
Yeah, it was interesting to see during COVID how people are really, they sit in their house and now everybody wants a home office and everybody just wants to improve. So some businesses did really well during COVID just because people were let's just do something to our house, to our space. We're going to be stuck here for a while. We might as well. We did it. Look, when you have a house, you always have something to do, or a condo. You always want to fix something or remodel something. But during COVID, it was definitely a boom.
Yeah, no, it's changed the way that we look at the way we live in our homes. But talking, obviously, real estate, buying, selling, are you currently working all throughout South Florida, or are you really specializing in the Miami area?
Yeah, I try to stay focused in areas that I know, like Gables Grove, Miami Beach, maybe Sunny Isles a little bit, Bal Harbor, but I'm not doing Broward too much. Again, depends on the budget. Then maybe I'll drive an hour to Boca Raton. But I try to stay around, where I know. Yeah, I don't know the schools in Fort Lauderdale. It's a beautiful area, but.
Absolutely. Does anyone have any questions specific that you'd like to ask Maya?
Don't be shy.
Any questions? She has a question. No questions? All right, well, we'll keep talking. I want to make sure we're addressing things that everybody would like to hear. So do you foresee yourself ever wanting to be back on a show? Because we know that you recently announced that you were leaving the show.
Yeah, actually, like they were filming a scene 2 weeks ago and they wanted me to fly for the scene, but I couldn't because I had a client here and that was a little bit more important. I am flying in 2 weeks. Heather is having a baby shower, so I'm probably going to go there. But it's hard. Like they're filming right now 2 seasons back to back. I have my kids here. I have my work. I've been flying every week to film Selling Sunset, and it's a lot. And also the show took a little turns with the drama, and given I'm not really involved with the drama, I knew they're going to probably cut half of my scenes anyway, so I made that decision to bounce out. Yeah, maybe I'll do a cameo, but not be involved too much. And I
We-
already know what's going on there with the drama. I'm pretty much aware of the details, but
They'll have to start like selling Ocean Drive or something. I mean, we have to bring it to
they
Miami.
wanted to do sell in Miami, but the problem is, they're looking for serious real estate agents, but they also want the drama. It's very hard to find someone who's committed to real estate and just sells and focus on business and also spill a drink and dinner on someone, or it's just. So you want a housewife, or you want successful women doing real estate. So it's a tough line.
Absolutely. And we had a question right here. Let me step down.
So now that we know that you're trying to develop your business here, not so much in California, who is your go-to for referral?
In California, I would refer to Davina. I actually speak to Davina every day. I know the show did pretty not good for Davina with the editing, but she's one of my closest friends and I really like her. And she's serious. She's been doing real estate for 15 years. I really trust her. And she's a broker. She knows her shit, basically. Oops, we have kids in here. Sorry.
Do we have
Jordan,
anyone?
you didn't hear that, right?
Is anyone here in real estate?
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
All right, great.
All of you. Brace yourself. It's going to be a tough year.
So what advice can you give a realtor as far as going into the next phase of whatever the market looks like? If we're going in a downturn, what
Yeah.
advice would you give?
When I started in LA, we were also in the middle of recession. It was 2012. It was very like a buyer's market. But I feel like every market will have opportunities. So maybe don't work with sellers as much, maybe with buyers. I think just like you have to navigate through the changes of the market and also try to be creative. I know this business is not easy as we see on the show. I mean, obviously nobody wear like a crazy dress and high heels and sell real estate. I mean, let's face it. Right. When I call them out on that, they're not happy about my comments, but it's true. So, you just have to be creative. I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit slow, but there are always buyers and sellers. There is always movement. Maybe buyers from last year will reappear. You never know. You just keep prospecting, keep putting yourself out there. I mean, I'm doing a lot of marketing now, and I'm spending money. If you close a deal, try to really allocate some of the money towards your brand. It's very important. I mean, I've been doing it for almost 10 years, and only in the last year, I actually created my Maya Vander group. Like, it took me a while, because I was with Jason, so it's Jason's brand. And I'm like, I don't want to be in anyone's brand. I want to be my own brand. And I think try to brand yourself.
Absolutely. So when talking about prospecting, what is your favorite way, or what would you say you've seen the best results as far as forms of prospecting?
So in LA, I used to door knock every neighborhood. Actually, Keanu Reeves opened the door for me one time, like up in the hills. I used to door knock, but that was in LA. I don't do it here. I haven't done it because I don't know, if I go door knock now, it's like, what are you doing here? You're from Selling Sunset. I drive construction site. That I'll do. Every agent has different way. I like online leads. I do really well with Zillow. When I moved here first, before the show was out, I spent money on Zillow. It's not cheap, but and the leads can be not always consistent, but that's how I started building my business here, through Zillow leads. I do that. Google leads, it's also hit or miss. And also your network. Try to just talk to everyone about real estate. Make sure you have social media presence, whether if you do LinkedIn, IG, TikTok. It's free, so. Because look, if you don't have money to invest in marketing, I mean, Zillow, whatever, Realtor, those are expensive. So at least do social media, email blast, open houses. It's a great way to meet people.
And that's a great point because, talking about email blasts, a lot of people, they don't focus on, inputting the information and staying engaged and sending out emails and keeping in front of people, because at the end of the day, you don't know when somebody is ready to really, to sell their home or to buy a new home or ready to invest or whatever that might be.
I mean, I had a client, he was a Zillow lead, from 3 years ago. I forgot about him, but he was on the email blast. Which, by the way, don't forget about your client. Try to follow up. But anyways, I'm getting better at that. But I put him on my email blast. He got my email blast 3 years later, and he bought already 3 units through me. So it just shows you never know when someone is ready. Some people are ready to buy now, and which is great, but some of them take forever. I mean, geez, I had 2 kids, and this person still haven't buy anything. So yeah, you also don't want to stalk someone and bug them every like week, but maybe once in a blue moon. I mean, shoot them a text or an email and maybe engage with them somehow.
Yeah, and talking about social media, because social media is so powerful. You see a lot of realtors always showing what they're selling, what they're listing, and just staying in front of people to show what's available. Do you think that's a good way to be obviously stay engaged, but also generate new business?
Yes, but also if you don't have a business account, just post you and your dog, you and your kids. It's okay to have your personal stuff too. I mean, obviously don't post if you're going out in a club with drinks in your hand. Less professional. But I would say a good mix of posts with like your success in real estate, but always show that you are doing real estate and you're in the business, and you can totally put personal stuff.
Absolutely. Does anyone have any questions? Yes. Here, I'll come down.
Hi, how are you? I just moved out here from California.
Oh,
4
nice.
months ago.
We're in California?
San Diego.
Nice.
Yeah. So what is the one difference working in California opposed to Miami as a realtor?
Yeah. So you said what's the difference? Yeah, so Miami, well, now it's changed, but when I moved here, everybody just want to buy second home, they were less emotional invested. They're like, oh, I just want to buy a cool condo, nice view, nice pool, then I'm maybe going to come here twice a year. So I feel like the transactions were honestly easier here. But now you're dealing with people who are moving here full time, and they need that. So it's becoming like California. Another thing is less paperwork in Florida. California, the disclosure, it's just like, yeah, I always a transaction coordinator. Here I can do it on my own, although sometimes I have one. But it's just that the paperwork is different. I think it's less complicated in Florida.
Does anyone else have a question?
So marketing, if you don't have the capital to put into something, you mentioned social media. What about content? How do you create your content? What do you think works best with your constituents?
So, I mean, it's crazy because with my social media, if I post a picture with a kid, I get tons of engagement. If I post a picture of real estate, not so much. But I still have to post because I do real estate. I do videos. I do also some short videos about real estate, like either for buyers or for agents. Because I also have like a real estate course. So I'm trying to get, people to do the course. But I think videos are great because people can kind of like get to know you. I just did a mailer with a QR code, and first it was a contact me if you want to buy and sell, and like a link to my website. But I just did a QR code with a video of mine talking a little bit about the market. So I think you got to be creative. But I think for social media videos, Reels will get you more viewers because IG is just trying. But the algorithm on IG is all over the place too.
It is difficult, and you can't get frustrated. Consistency is key when it comes to social media because when it comes to social media, it's all algorithms on the back end. So consistency is everything because you never know when it will actually, be picked up and hit.
Yeah, and I noticed it, by the way, when we promote the show here. Like, you posted a picture of me with, like, shorts, and for some reason it got a ton of viewers. And then just me with, like, picture, hey, come see me at the home show, got less viewers. So it's like someone from IG is, like, sitting in the back, and he's like, more skin, done.
The
but
announcement
don't do
did
that,
well. The announcement did well as well. So that was you speaking.
I know.
But no, I mean, it's absolutely amazing having you here. Obviously, the insight, the information, your experience. Is there anything that you would say is like, when you start out, it's not like you just all of a sudden get into luxury real estate. What do you think that key component is, or at what point did you see your business change to get more so into the luxury side?
I think if you have one good sell, it's with luxury price point, it gives you the credibility, and people, oh, she sells, like in that amount, and they immediately trust you. Here we sell everything. We sell lower price point condos because Brickell is not that expensive. Well, now maybe a little bit more, but we sell lower price condos, and we sell like higher price points. So it really depends. But I think if you have one big sale, then it just gives you that credibility, and from there the momentum is up. But yeah, to get to that one big sale, it just takes time. I mean, look, Los Angeles, for me, every sale was minimum 1.5 because that's a teardown in LA. Now it's probably 2.5. But so that's already luxury compared to here, you know. Like back then, like a house in the Gables, you can find a beautiful place for 1 million. Although now we've seen prices per square foot that really matching a little bit California, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But we get, I mean, you know, no state income, so can't complain.
No, absolutely. Does anyone else have any questions? Yes, I'll come down.
What is your view on Hurricane Ian's that we just had and the future of South Florida real estate in light of the big national coverage we're having?
I know everybody were talking about the sea rise levels for a long time, and now nobody talks about it, but it's happening. I just don't know when, and it is kind of scary. Look, living on the ocean, it's amazing, right? But then it's amazing until you have a big storm, and then you're like, oh, shoot, you know? So it's, I mean, it looks beautiful, but I think it's a problem. I think the storm, when we moved here from LA, the first summer we had was Hurricane Irma, and we evacuated. And it's sad, but unfortunately we're in a tropical climate, and what can we do? I mean, yeah, we can obviously do things for the environment as much as we can, but at the end of the day, it's Mother Nature, and it's not in our control, but it sucks that it happens. I mean, Naples is just like completely out, and you know, Sanibel Islands and all these areas. Like, we got lucky in Miami that it shifted, but unfortunately every summer we have that risk. It's not perfect, but you know, in California we have fires and there are earthquakes. So, and I felt so many of them. So at least with the storm we can have time to run away, as you know, and hope for the best.
Any other questions? Going once, going twice. All right, well, is there any last piece of advice or insight or anything that comes to mind that you would like to share with us?
I was going to share something, but I forgot. Gosh, I totally forgot. No, I just say, like, for you guys real estate agents, you have to just be creative with the market. Things are changing, but that's okay. This is the nature of the business. For the Selling Sunset fan, I know that season 6 will have a lot of drama. I already know what the deal is over there. And what else? I don't know. I don't have anything. I wanted to say something, but I forgot. Oh, no. No, I just, I can remember.
All right, well, let's give a round of applause. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, no
it's
problem.
amazing
Thank
having
you.
you.